All right. Welcome in everybody. We are making it happen. We're here. It's all coming together. It is Workshop Wednesday here on twitch.tv/Perry Von Vicious. And I am happy to be here. Hopefully a whole bunch of you folks come join me and come hang out, because this is going to be a good one. I'm really excited. I think this is a fun little subject for us in Rip Bison. You know, he's got such a unique look. We've done toys of him in the past. So, you know, I have a good grounding there. You know, he's my tag partner. So, you know, there's that too. There's that aspect to the story. Let's be real. Encrypted, welcome in.
Welcome, my friends.
And we're back to the regular sounds tonight. I'm getting us rolling here with this Rip figure. I'm feeling pretty good. I did a lot of off-stream work on this. I'm 8 or 9 hours into this sculpt. I'm feeling pretty good. This one's in the style of the old LJN WWF figures, or the Big Rubber Guy figures. Let's see, need a snap of it for the old story. Sure, we'll leave that as the music. Yeah, putting it up on the old Instagram, letting the folks know that we are here. We are here, and it's all coming together. It's all really happening. I'm going to go through my grind photos, put together something ahead of RPM. Oh, that's right. It's your 2-year anniversary at RPM. That's amazing. Well, I'm so glad. You know, I've talked a great deal on this stream about you know, what a welcome addition you've been to Pro Wrestling Grind, and that my opinion on that has not changed. You will not be surprised to learn. Still one of the best acquisitions the company could ask for. I mean, you know, I put it out there in such a bland sort of corporate sounding way of saying it like that, but like genuinely, you know, what you add, your photography, your art, is huge for the company and for the work that I do for the company. And moreover, you know, even beyond that, you know, you're having you as part of the team has been huge. You know, it's so easy to add people who are talented but are, you know, not great people. Like those people are a dime a dozen. People who are talented, versatile, and like friendly, cool, welcoming, open-minded, like good people, a far greater rarity. So, you know, a huge boon for us to bring you on board. That there. And I think that should do for the old Instagram post. All right. We're so back. We are so back. We got funky little chiptune songs playing. Let me know if the chiptune music is too loud or if it's a good volume with what I'm doing. Day Without Darkness, welcome in. Folks, I got I'm happy to tell everyone we got a new bits goal started down on the channel down below. We got a good jump on it last night. But once we hit that bits goal, I can order the powered cooling pad for my laptop, and I won't have to freeze weight plates from my gym in the basement anymore, which has worked very well. But boy, you know, having a dedicated heating pad that blows dry, cool air into there instead of the weights, which, you know, do collect a little condensation as the evening goes on. That's how large cold objects are in New England in the summer. But yeah, we are here. We are working on our Rip Bison. All right, let's see if I remember how all the controls in here work. Whenever I hop back in after a day or two of not touching a thing, there's always, you can see this is not bad. Like, I really roughed it out. I kept everything pretty rough. What I want to do is I want to come in, I want to get all these studs kind of nailed down a little bit better. I want to smooth a lot of these edges, really refine the shapes here. We're going to give him his gauntlets that he wears. We're going to refine these spikes up here, make them nice and pointy. We got a lot of work to do on the face and the hair. A lot of work to do on his boots too. So a lot to do there. Over in another tab here, there's my browser. I do have, I'm gonna pull up for my own reference. He was kind enough to send me close-ups of a lot of his gear. So I'll be able to reference that as we work here, because you know, this is going to be, because it's an LJN style figure, a big rubber guy style figure, it's going to be considerably larger than the toys I make, which means a lot of those smaller details that are often lost will be much more visible on this. And I'm really excited to see what the finished product ends up looking like. Rip is planning to hand paint all of them himself. He's real good at doing that. He's done it for all the figures for him. You know, I don't have a Rip Bison in my figure. I got to print my last Hasbro style Rip so that I can have one for my archives here. You know, the work on the basement studio has begun. I have had an electrician in to have a look, and you know, we have sort of marching orders there. And we're gonna be moving. We're gonna be fixing up the electricity down there first. That is step one. The electrical needs to be fixed up because the previous owner had some very weird ideas about what he felt constituted proper electrical work. I'm putting it kindly, but boy, not great. All right, let's see. I guess I always sort of start down at the boots, don't I? So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go with the smooth. And let's just see with it set how it is. Let's see what happens. Okay, yeah, that's coming in. That's nice and slow. Val Gilbert, welcome in.
Welcome, my friends.
Happy to see you. Hope you're doing well. We're working on a Rip Bison LJN Big Rubber Guy style figure. This is the roughed out. He wanted it with his entrance gear, and I've done a lot of refining, a lot of back and forth with Rip. The original design, the vest was a little too low, and we couldn't see the belt on his gear. On the back, it says Ripper on his belt on his real gear, so we're gonna mimic that as well. And I'm looking forward to that because that's going to be one of those things that really, you know, kind of differentiates this and makes it look right. All right, let's. How much smoothing am I going to have to do here to get this to lay down and behave? There we go. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. It's all about patience here, you know? I talk about it when I'm down in the workshop. I feel like I often have a lot more patience doing work on toys in the workshop, like physical in-hand toys, than I do doing the digital sculpting. I feel like maybe... All right, let's put it way up and let's see what happens if I in here and try to knock this down a bit. We got this sort of crease in here in the boot that I don't like. I don't like the way that ended up looking. Might have to scrape that down. No, you know what? I can probably do the we often do the pinch. There's the grab. I might be able to kind of push it down. Yeah, this whole thing kind of needs to not be there anymore. We just gotta just bloop, bloop, just push it on in here. You say you hate David Finley. Why is that? I as you know, I am not good at watching the product, so I never know what's up. Is this a storyline thing that he's done? Is this some real life thing he's done? You know, I need a little clarity. I think I probably want to smooth all of this out. Let's see what happens if I... Yeah, there we go. We can kind of knock all of that down there. That's pretty good. That's effective. All right, yeah, we just want a smooth slate to start with. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, nice. Nice. Now what I want to do is I kind of want to just make my way around and take all of these. You see it's still very geometric from the import process. I used 2 programs to kind of make this. So knocking it down is now a big priority for me. Just gotta smooth everything out, get the edges crisp, and then we can go back in and we can add all the details. Just hate him because he was the worst Bullet Club leader. He was leader of the Bullet Club? Boy, that had to have been an era when people were really not, or at least when I really wasn't watching New Japan. The last time I watched New Japan, enough to know who leader of the Bullet Club was. Gosh, who was leader at that time? I don't even know. I know I watched post, Kenny and the Bucks Exodus, but I can't recall who would have been leader at that time. All right, let's knock all this down here. I'm just gonna go around, get everything nice and smooth. This is so good. I did, like I said, I did a lot of pre-work on this before the stream. Subdividing everything so that all of my layers behave really nicely. And so far, so good. Like, real happy with how this is behaving right now. Okay, let's knock this radius way down and see if we can just... We got to make this stronger. Make this like a 3. I don't know. Too much. Yeah, actually, this might be okay. Because I am digging this chiptune music. This is all like allegedly royalty-free stuff, you know? When Jay White left NJPW after losing, a loser leaves NJPW match to Uncle Eddie. Oh, okay. All right. Should probably knock this down a bit more. I'm gonna try doing it with like maybe like the flatten tool. Is that helping? Let's see. Well, a little bit. Try backing out a bit. Go a little broader with it. Yeah, I think that's kind of working. Then we'll come in with the smooth and see what happens if I do that. Kind of knock it all back a bit. Yeah, that's looking, I think that's pretty good. Okay, we got the boots about where we need them. Feeling good about that. If someone wants to pop a hydrate for me, I'd appreciate it. All right. So let's see. Next step is going to be, we got to kind of come in here. Got to add the details. I don't, you know, he had his boots modeled after a pair of Lemmy's boots. It's unfortunate because they had some designs on it that are often associated with things that I don't love, but you know, Lemmy was a progressive dude, so I don't think he meant what people often infer some of these things to mean. Let's see, it was the same night Mercedes Moné defeated Kyrie for her first non-Fed championship. Wow. Well, I mean, truth be told, by that point, Kyrie was getting ready to head back to the company, was she not? I kind of assume that's the case, but I don't actually know. There we go. Yeah, we'll just kind of get that all playing nice. Feel good there. Reed Cooper, welcome in. Hello! Happy to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. All right, so we got to get the design on Rip's boots here. They are... okay, this is good. This particular design that he sent is a slightly simpler design than his old boots were. It is a little bit of a pain because we're going to have to design it twice. I hate doing that, but you know, you do what you can with what you got. We are going to simplify it down a little bit. The design he has is pretty complicated. Muy complicado. I mean, I'm going to pull up some pictures so we can see some reference images here. Let's see here. And we got that one. That one. Okay. The side view, we really only need one side. We don't need both sides. All right, so I'm bringing in. So this is the front of Rip's boot. With we are making Rip Bison. This is the front of his boot. He has Lemmy cowboy boots. These are an exact copy of a pair of boots that Lemmy used to wear. So this has the sort of cross gimmick here with these the gold leaf guys with these the double-headed bird thing. I don't know what it's called. And then sort of an Aztec-y kind of gimmick running down the side. They're basically like cowboy boots that are done with this like weird white on or black on white style. So, and he does have a different color at the bottom than the rest of the boot. So I probably want to do a little bit of an indication of that. Now, thankfully, I don't have to paint that. That's on Rip. Rip is the one who he does all the painting of his own toys when I give them to him. It's something he takes a great deal of pride in. Let's see, I believe draw the one that I like to use here. Let's get in real close here. And let's just see. Okay, so that does it. That does it coming out. I think I want crease, right? Is crease more what I want? And let's put the strength up to like a full-on 1. Okay, is that too deep or is that okay? That deepness is fine. I think really I probably want to go like a 0.75 on that. We can bring that radius way lower. We want a nice little fine line here. We are just going to kind of go, it's a little higher in the front than it is, or in the back than it is in the front. So we're just going to kind of start here and make our way around. Yeah, I feel okay with how that looks. Gonna keep it moving here. Once again, in the back, it's going to be up higher. So I'm going to start here and come back on down. About like that. Did not like the overlap. It's not into that. All right, we'll go from here to about there. Okay, now we just got to connect them in the back. About like so. Okay, feel good about that. We're going to copy that on the other one too. I think that's what she said. Where's my, do I have a, oh, where's my, there it is. All right, so now we're going to copy that over on the other side here. This is a good start. I'm getting a good visual on how, you know, when I haven't done a lot of the detailed sculpting in a little bit, you know, it takes a little getting used to again to get used to exactly how the tools work. You know, each tool has its own purpose and its own quirks. So, you know, even when you've done a whole lot of toy designing, and at this point I've done a lot for someone who, you know, doesn't actually work at like Hasbro or anything. Given that, I've done quite a bit.
No denying the heart, no denying how important this matchup is, as now Ryan Mooney on the shoulders.
The course effects.
Perry, go round!
Crash landing!
Yes, indeed, and Raiders, welcome in. We are doing some toy design work tonight. Got an order to make an LJN style Rip Bison figure. And so far the rough out is looking pretty good. Welcome, welcome. Well, I got to hit you with the welcome sound.
Welcome, my friends.
The rough out of our LJN for Rip Bison is looking pretty good. Like, you can sort of see it all coming together. He has that sort of, you know, Mad Max vest. He's got the belt on his trunks. What I'm doing now is I'm going in. You can sort of see the texture difference in the boots here. I'm going in and just starting right at the feet, and we are working our way up, just adding all the detail, getting all of the getting all of our textures right. You know, it's a labor of love. I get paid pretty well to do these. Yes, I do 3D print, but when you think of 3D prints, everyone thinks of filament prints, and I do not filament print toys. Filament prints are weak structurally. They are not terribly great to look at, and they have all those layer lines that you can see on them. I don't do that. I do resin printing, which prints in 4K. There are no layer lines. And it makes a really hefty, strong toy. A lot of the folks in the chat do have some of my figures. I often do them in a more Hasbro style. I have, this was the prototype piece for my Hasbro of myself. And so I can see my camera. That was the prototype for my figure. I have a all translucent that has to be delivered to Joey Nails soon. He won this in a raffle. This is an all translucent Delmy Exo prototype. She has figures that she sells as well. I really do prefer the resin prints. They're much stronger. You know, it's a much more polished, professional looking piece when all is said and done. All right. Get my reference pictures back up for Rip's boots here, because these are very I should beat Joey up and steal that. Well, you got a long drive to do it because he lives way up in the great state of Maine. How does resin printing work? I could Google this, but it's probably good for your stream discourse. Yeah, so when you think of a regular printer, a regular 3D printer, the way it works is there's a little nozzle with a spool of plastic going into it, and it melts and it sort of draws a shape. And then it goes up a layer and it draws what the next layer should look like. And then it goes up and it just keeps doing that. And that's where those layer lines come from. And it's a very cool process, and it's been refined over time, and it's really good. Resin, you are printing from a ultraviolet resin, which is essentially a very thick, sort of a thick liquid. Adam NXX7, welcome in.
Welcome, my friends.
With the 115 streak, hell yeah. Resin is like a very thick, almost like Elmer's glue consistency liquid. And you pour it into a vat that's, you know, 1.5 inches deep. And the whole thing prints upside down. There is a print bed that hangs above it that lowers down so that the only distance between it and the bottom is one layer. And underneath that vat is transparent. Underneath that, there is an 8K resolution UV screen of pixels, essentially. And it flashes what that one layer should look like. And those layers are incredibly thin. And because it's 8K resolution, you can't see the difference between the layers when you have the finished product. So it does the one, and then it pulls itself up away from the thing, and then it lowers down enough for the next layer, and then it pulls, and it keeps doing that. It is much faster than filament printing. It produces a stronger piece than filament printing, and a much higher quality print. The only difference is when it's done, you know, obviously it's still kind of covered in a lot of uncured UV resin. So there is a post-processing process that I don't like how that sounds. There is a post-process you have to go through with it, where essentially the stuff only comes off with isopropyl alcohol. So down in my workshop next to those printers, because I do have filament printers as well, but next to those printers I have a collection of machines that do a lot of the work for me. But the first step is I take those pieces off, I remove any supports, and I put them into a big vat of isopropyl alcohol, and I scrub all the parts with a toothbrush. That gets a lot of it off. And then I have a big machine that is a giant vat of very clean isopropyl alcohol. I put the stuff in there, and then when I turn it on, it's got a little spinner at the bottom, and it washes the whole thing. I got to take it all out of there. I got to let it all get bone dry. So I put it in front of a fan because it's isopropyl alcohol. It evaporates easily. It's all going to be bone dry, and then it goes into a curing box that has multiple strips of UV light, because it's not fully cured when it's off the machine. It's just close. And it rotates, getting light from all angles for about 30 minutes. You can also just set them out in the sun. That works as well. But, you know, my workshop is down in the basement, and I have the windows blacked out so that no UV resin is getting light before it should. All right. So we are working on this ridiculous design for Rip Bison, because he has these fancy boots with this like double-headed dragon bird phoenix thing. I don't know what the heck it is, with some kind of like, there's like a medieval cross thing in the middle. Rumors have it that Swerve might align himself with Kofi and Austin Creed. They haven't appeared in AEW, have they? Did I miss some news? Also, why does Swerve need to align himself with anyone? He's like a top guy. I don't see why he would have a group at all. Also, everyone, did you get that thing? I did get that. Thank you very much. That was very kind of you. But I did that. That arrived today, actually, just this morning. Yeah, I have AEW on and shut it off. I'm not their market. Oh no. All right, let's get an angle on this that I want to work at, because most of the design is right here. Some of it wraps around the boot, which is going to be a little bit of a pain, but not undoable. Not undoable at all. I think about here is a good angle. Let's just see, what am I working with here? Okay. How strong is that? Not strong enough. I need this to be probably closer to, call it 80-ish. You know what? Let's make it exactly 80. That way I can replicate it. No, not 10. Good heavens. 0.8. There we go. There we go. All right. And somehow in that process, we moved our view. Not ideal. Technically, yes, this is Perry's house. This stream is occurring within Perry's house. All right. And that's about where we want. If I mentioned it earlier, but then I think it didn't happen. If anyone wants to pop a hydrate, I wouldn't say no. All right, let's go ahead and I'm just going to start drawing this design. Yeah.
Adam_NX67 just redeemed hydrate.
This is the title.
Oh my gosh.
Emilia Tiberius just redeemed hydrate.
This is the tidal wave.
Adam_NX67 just redeemed hydrate.
Amelia Tiberius, welcome in. We are back at it here, doing some toy design work. Let's call that about where it goes. It's going to come back up here. I'm trying to copy from an image that I'm looking at, and I'm doing okay at it. Working on my 5-stream streak. Building up, getting closer every day.
Step by step.
I'm happy to have you here. You know, you already know. Happy to have you here. Happy everyone could come in and join me here for a workshop Wednesday. We haven't had a proper workshop Wednesday in some time. All right. I'm gonna come down here, and this thing has like little claw legs that kind of come up. They're short and kind of ugly, like that. Okay, that's one. That's another. Just gonna come out. I'm gonna look around. How do we feel about yeah, this is looking good. Okay. Always gotta, that's something that I've learned over time, is you really gotta pan back and get a good look at what you're doing here. Adam NX67, I am always so jealous that you're in the pool every time we talk, because I do not have a pool or really anywhere to put one in my yard. It gets so damn hot sometimes, you know? You know what I mean? Everybody, we all agree on that. Just gets so hot sometimes. All right, now we got to see what the side of this thing does. Let me pull up my other view here. Okay. All right, I feel pretty good about what we've drawn so far based on what I'm seeing here. We're gonna come up, come down, then back. Then we're going to stop this here because we're going to put a big thing down the side here. That's going to go to about there. Okay. All right. All right. So that's one side more or less. And then the inside sort of does the same thing. Yeah. I'm glad I have these reference images. This is one thing that's really nice about being friends with the person you're designing the toy of. I had no problem reaching out to him and getting reference images. Okay, all that pretty good. Made an Italian cold cut stromboli, but used a sheet of crescent rolls, then pizza dough. Wow, yo. Hurrah. My goodness. I gathered it was rather than pizza dough. My goodness. Well, my remarks, welcome in.
Welcome, my friends.
Always popping in and dropping the sick food ideas. Always. Real good. Double smash burger with extra cheese. Oh.
He's jealous of that.
Stromboli.
He's jealous of that.
Oh, that's okay. Hey, you talk when you want to, you know what I mean? Let's see, for dinner here, I made, as we all know, I do the cooking around here. I made some delicious shrimp tacos. I've talked my shrimp taco recipe before on here. It's not anything complicated, but and the nice part is you're only ever cooking for a minute or two at a go, and then it's a lot of letting stuff sit and marinate, Honestly, the most time-consuming part of my recipe was shrimp tacos.
He's jealous of that.
Most time-consuming part of making my shrimp tacos is letting stuff marinate. You know what I mean? Okay, hang on, I'm really glad with how these boots are coming along. I'm not thrilled that I'm going to have to do it a second time, but worse things have happened. All right, let's see. Layer, or do I want to do clay strips? Sometimes clay strips works really well. Let's try clay strips and see what happens. We're going to need a bigger radius, and I'm going to want the strength up at like a 1 maybe. Okay, that radius is too much. Yeah, that's about what we want, because we need a strip coming down here that's got to look real solid. So let's just see. Yeah, I'm going to have to come in and do a lot of cleanup on those edges. But, like, not bad. And when it gets to the bottom, it's kind of like a rounded thing to it. Okay, yeah, we can get in uptight and clean up those edges, but I like what I see there. That's good. That's good. I wonder if I bop this down to like the 0.8, and if I make the radius a little smaller so I have more control, can I just fill in the space in here? Because this needs to be solid. Yeah, it looks like I can. And then we'll just go in and we'll smooth it all out. Yeah. That is gonna work, my friends. That is gonna work. This is the thing, is like a lot of this stuff is gonna look ugly at first. And then all of a sudden it's not. You know what I mean? WWE is producing the... I assume you're talking about AEW that you just turned back on. Little coloring in action here. Keep making our way around. Yeah, this is very promising. Feeling okay about this. I almost kind of wish that I'd use the clay tool to draw these lines. The edges are a little goopy for me, but not so bad. So this is going to come down to here. And we're just going to fill in nice and flat. We can go back and clean the edges up later. I think that's going to be the move. This is definitely a piece that will not be finished on stream, you know? I'm going to do as much as I can, because we like to hang out on a workshop Wednesday. But I have been getting a lot of work done on some of these designs off stream. I am finding that if I'm not actively explaining as I go, somehow it's faster. Who would have guessed, huh? Hey, isn't that crazy? Like, whoever would have assumed? All right. Let's just make sure there's no big empty spots here. Now I kind of want to grab the smooth and get back to, like, let's see what happens, you know? Let's bring the strength down to like a 1, close to a 1. Make the radius a little, yeah, it's maybe like here. Yeah, nice and calm with this. We want this to be very gentle, smoothing this out. This radius needs to be a bit smaller too, so I can come through here. We don't want to knock it all down. We just want to make it really uniform. You know what I mean? Yeah, so far so good. Don't like where that last bit went there. There we go. Yeah, okay. All right. Now it's coming along. Yeah, you know, we like to point out that Jericho's wife is, you know, treasonous, but you can't imagine that he's different from that, right? Like he's got to be the same. Like that can't just be her. It's got to be both of them. He just happened to be busy that day or something. Okay. I was saying encrypted says definitely, and she knows what she's talking about. Encrypted is someone I've gone to for stuff like that way back, where I'm like, hey, is this person a problem? All right, let's back up and get a look. Okay, we got a little more softening to do here. You know, we want this to all be nice and uniform. Okay, looking good. Last little bit there. That's one of the problems. You get in a good little movement with a bunch of this, and then all of a sudden you hit the wrong spot and it does something you don't want. You got to undo all of it. All right. That's looking pretty good. These edges are not bad. Well, let's see. Can I do the same thing here? Yeah, just smooth this whole piece out. All right. All right. Coming right along here. You want a nice like crease on the edge here, and I think the move for that is going to be to get way up on it. You know, kind of want to hit one of those. Crease. Just keep a little bit of delineation here, you know? Want a little separation so it's clear that this is two parts. Go. Nice. Okay, feeling good about that. All right, let's take a look here. Oh, Adam in X67 says, random question. What is the mystery box up to? Well, that's so as we all know, the way the mystery box works is at the beginning of every month, it has 6 items in it. It starts with 3 toys, 3 trading cards from my collection. And then every stream I add another item. Could be a toy, could be a trading card. We don't say. If at the end of the month, no one buys it, it reverts back to the beginning. If someone does buy it, once they buy it, it reverts to the beginning for them as well. So currently, the mystery box, let's see. Let me look at my calendar. I can tell you exactly how many things are in there. I can tell you exactly how many things are in there. Got to look at my calendar. And I'm going to count the days where we miss streams. It's not the mystery box's fault that I didn't have a stream. So let's see, if we had 6, then we got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and tonight makes 13 items total in the mystery box. So if people are feeling froggy, that could potentially be a lot of toys and trading cards. If I was unable to get my tech working to the level that I needed it tonight was going to be a trading card night down in the workshop. We were gonna. Yeah, the mystery box may have been morning, but I think anyone who wants to pick up a mystery box, they deserve to have pretended it was a good month, you know? All right. Feeling good about this. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I do kind of want to fill in this little gap. This gap looks weird. I mean, not that it matters, you know. A pretty little bit here. There, that's a better shape. Let's go back to the smooth. Get over there. Come in and make that kind of gentle there. There we go. All right. We are at a solid beginning here. Hey, well, that's, you know, every step is good. Every step is good, Reed Cooper. Don't be too hard on yourself. You're gonna look. I got to hit the sound effect.
Step by step.
So you're gonna get there. You know, every bit of it, you're getting a little bit closer. You know, and that's how it is here. Right now, we've been very slow to get a lot of things done. Because. You know, and I'm sure you can relate to this with the level of caretaking you do toward the end. You need recovery time, you know, and that's kind of where we're at. You know, the rest of my family who were, you know, doing a ton of caretake work for this, they are in a lot of ways just trying to catch up on some sleep, you know. All right, that's gonna be about right. Oh, you know, I think I wanted it stronger. I want this at a solid 1. Yeah, that too. You know, it's a huge life change, but like also like, you know, you're exhausted. You know, it was months and months of 24-hour care. So, you know, there's a lot of elements kind of at once. So we've been a little slow to handle a few different parts of it, but you know, we're not stressing about that. All right. Let's take down all the artifacting here. Okay, nice sort of broad strokes movements here. Okay, feeling good there. Asked if you can copy and paste, or do the other boot completely? I do have to do the other boot completely because, you know, when you zoom out and get a look, the shapes are not identical and they are at a different angle, and all of this is many little things. So there's not a great way to do it. Also, if I were to like cut this off at the boot and just say, okay, well, we'll copy paste and reflect so it's pointed the other way with this boot. The conjoining tool in Blender is notoriously troublesome and doesn't like to behave well. It's a problem that people have been plagued with for a long time in this program, including like professional animators that use it. They like, you know, it's sort of the bane of their existence that one thing doesn't work very well. So I just don't even bother trying. Like, I know it doesn't work well. I've tried to use it and it's been a problem. Yeah. And I don't mind, you know, I don't mind doing it again. You know, like I said earlier, it's, while I do get paid to do these, even when it's being done for my friends like Rip, While I do get paid for that, it is a labor of love. You know, I like toys a lot, and I consider it a luxury that, one, I can even do this, because when we were kids, you couldn't have digitally sculpted these. You would have had to have hand sculpted, which I'm not nearly as good at. You know, I'm getting better, but it's not my forte by any stretch of the imagination. So being able to do this at all, I consider a pretty big win. Right. Well, there we go. There's a bit of that detail. Now we got to come on. There's more stuff to draw on here, which is crazy. You know what? Let's hit the rest of the wings, because it comes off over here. Like there's like little bits of the wings from it kind of sticking off. So we gotta hit that. Let's see. I did that with the raw tool. Something like that. Another one. One that kind of does one of these. And let's call it one last one. There we go. There we go. Joey Nails re-upping the subscription. Joey Nails, are you actually in the chat? You hanging out, or is that just an auto? Did it just happen to be recurring and it hit? See if the homie's actually here. Joey Nails has been a busy guy. He's had a lot of bookings this summer. Wrestling all the time. He's got new gear that I see sometimes. You know, kids juggling 2 gimmicks across multiple promotions. Come a long way in the time we've known him, gang. Yeah, it is possible that that was an auto renewal and he's not here. That's okay. Let's see here. Let's get in and smooth this down. I sent the very roughed out version of this to Rip today. We've been refining it over time because we had different issues with poses and things. He was very excited with what he was seeing. Let's see, actually do admire the magic that is one of the greatest managers in history. Don Callis. It's been so long since I've watched. I feel really bad. Like I have no idea like who's paired with who anymore. Like I got like just no clue. I feel bad about it. You know, it's an industry I allegedly care about. I get so distracted with my own stuff, you know. Let's get those clay strips, fill in the space here. Are you actually a wrestling fan? Right? Like I definitely was. I don't know that I would qualify anymore. Truthfully, like I watch so little of it now, which is a shame. Like, I mean, I have a really good time when I do watch. But like, I didn't even watch WrestleMania this year. First, because I didn't have a way to, but second, like, I don't know who most of the roster is. You know what I mean? All right, let's pan out and let's get a look at what this looks like when we're back here. Okay, all right, all right. Details are showing through. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, cool, cool, cool. All right, now we're gonna hit it with what little bit of detail is left to add here. I kind of want to try like a few different tools here and just see what they do. Whoa, don't like that. Nope, 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 no good, no good. Let's stick with the tools that have been working for us. Hey Perry, one company sold its soul entirely, and the other has good periods and bad periods. Yeah, you know, part of it's, I think, just getting older. Like, I can't keep up with all what's on there and what's good. You know, I got so many friends on the indies that I'm trying to track what they're doing. And there's so much good Japanese wrestling that I enjoy that, like, I don't have time for the stuff that I only mostly like. You know what I mean? All right, so we're going to give a little blip, blip, blip here, and then we'll put the thing in the middle here. Northeast indie scene for a long time has been a big darned deal. You know what I mean? It's not a little thing. It's like the place. And that's been that way for a long time. When you think about some of the faces that have come out of this area, you know, your Tommaso Ciampas, I mean, Triple H is Northeast. He's New Hampshire. You know, you think of, I mean, Perry Saturn, you know, he was a big one. China was, I mean, if we're talking Attitude Era, if you're talking like more recent ones, yeah, it's Ciampa, it's Warbeard or whatever. Is he Ivar? Ivar, I think, is the name he uses now. Christian Casanova, who for the life of me, I can't remember what his name is in WWE now. But yeah, some incredible talents out this way. Mommy Van. Who is Mommy Van? Do I not know who wrestlers are anymore? Man, I am struggling. All right, we're just gonna make this a little bit like that. Come over here and do the same sort of thing. Denver, Colorado is a great Northeast talent. Yeah. Yeah, seriously, high-speed rail would be incredible. I'm right there with you. I completely agree. Okay, let's go with the clay strips and let's put the strength down to like a 0.8. And let's just see if I make I'm just going to kind of go as plain as I can here. I want that to be a little bit bigger. We're at 22. Let's try a 30. Yeah, that's probably closer to what I want. Viva Van. Is Viva Van an AEW? Really? I thought Viva Van was like a hood slammer. I just don't know who people are anymore. There was a time I was on top of this stuff, kids. There was a time I knew things. That time has passed. Let's get in here and smooth this out. We want a nice uniform look here. Okay, I think that's looking pretty crisp. All right, okay. Yeah, I mean, all the rosters are too big, right? Like, I get that, like, and I understand how it happens. Both companies want to sign a lot of people so that the other guys don't get them first. And then once they get these people, they don't do anything with most of them. It's a bummer, man.
No denying the heart,
Ooh.
no denying how important this matchup is. No denying the heart,
Our
no
alert is
denying
trying
how
its
important
best.
This matchup is as
Round we go. Perry go round.
Crash landing!
Welcome in 1996 Brendan with the big old raid. Happy to have ya.
Welcome, my friends.
Welcome in. We're doing some toy making. We're making our own LJN style, big rubber guy style Rip Bison figure. We're working on some detail work. This is the sort of roughed out shape of what we got here. And it's, you know, we got a good start, but there's a lot of detail to add. And Rip wants all the detail. You know what I mean? He wants all the detail. Perry, who's the biggest person you've Perry-go-rounded? Well, big is measured in a lot of different ways. If we're talking the tallest person I've given a Perry-go-round to, it is Ryan Gallione, who I believe is 6'8". Like, he towered over me when we wrestled, and I'm 6'3". So I want to say he was like 6'8". That's the biggest person I've ever given, the tallest person I've ever given a Perry-go-round to. As far as the heaviest, I would say it was awesome. Hey, I can pick big people up, man. As far as the heaviest, if you guys are familiar with a wrestler known as Abs, ABBS, he has had I believe it was gastric bypass that he had, but before that, when he was north of, I want to say he was north of 370. Like, he was real. It was when he was at his heaviest. I gave him a Perry-go-round. I adore Abs. Abs is, there are two people in wrestling that refer to me as their wrestling dad for no good reason other than it's funny. One is Abs, and the other one is the other one is Myung-Jae Lee. The two of them consider me to be their wrestling dad for no good reason. Done nothing to earn it. All right, coming down the side here, we're literally just gonna give him some studs coming down the side, some kind of vague studs here. And I believe that's going to be it on this boot once I get this on both sides. Yeah, okay, I feel all right with that. That looks pretty good. Yes, the truck tires are 66 inches. It's true, I'm not that much older than Abs. I am a fair bit older than Myung-Jae Lee. That one I will, I'll give you that one. Not old enough to be his dad, though. At least not if I'm a responsible person. I suppose, like, if I was a real popular 13-year-old or something, maybe I could have fathered Myung-Jae Lee, but... All right, let's get a look. Yeah, that came together. I'm feeling good about that. Raising this up a little bit. There's a few low points I'm noticing, so I can go in and kind of just hit those a little bit. Kind of increase the edge here. There we go. Really feel on the back here. I want this. These pieces are not enough to them. There we go. Now it's, we need that up higher. Wait.
Not higher. Eye level. Eye level.
Oh, Val Gilbert says Perry never Perry-go-rounded a heavy tank. Val Gilbert, if you are referring to the Japanese heavy tank, Kodai Nozaki, I have given him the Perry-go-round twice in 2 different countries. So he got a Perry-go-round at Limitless Wrestling in Maine when he came to America, and he got a Perry-go-round in Nakatsu. I'll pull the clip up, man. It's on my Instagram. I'm on it. Hang on, I got you. But yeah, no, I've given him the Perry-go-round twice in two different countries. I'm not afraid to say. He refers to me as Dr. Perry because he claims that every time he's taken a merry-go-round from me, it has made his lower back problems feel better. I can't imagine that that's actually super accurate, but it's his claim, not mine. So, let's see. There's one. I know there's another one. Where's the clip of the two of them together? I have one clip. Yeah, there it is. Here we go. Here you go. Here's both at the same time. Pull them out. And around we go. Top one was Maine. Bottom one was Nakatsu Oita, Kyushu, Japan. Look at that. Big boy Kodai taking them merry-go-rounds. Now you might be in ad jail, but that's no excuse to not see the clip. If anyone wants to gift Val Gilbert a sub to get her out of ad jail there, I'm open to that. One more time on this merry-go-round to Kodai, and then we're headed back into our design work. He's a big boy. All right, there we go. We are so back. All right. So let's see. I'm feeling good about this. I think this came out really well. Yeah. We got to recreate that on the other side. It should go a little faster this time because now I know what we need to do for it. And then we'll move along. Thankfully, his knee pads are very plain, so we're just going to smooth those and kind of crisp up the edges. We'll sort of smooth the legs as well. I want to keep the... I have sort of the indications of quad muscles there. We're going to make the edges of the trunks nice and sharp. He does want the trunks plain, so we're not imprinting a design on there. The belt is going to be some work. The belt has a million little studs on it, and then on the back it says Ripper. And then after that's done, it's going to be just kind of everything up to the face is going to be real easy. It's a lot of smoothing and then just kind of making everything crisper. Once we're to the face, you can see there's a lot of work to be done here. We got to delineate the beard from the rest of the face. We got to clean up the lines on the mouth a little bit. He needs more of an upper lip showing. We got to firm up the nose and get the eyes here. And then with the hair, we sort of have the idea, but it's going to be in that sort of half-top ponytail that Rip likes to do. So, a lot of work to do. The Yakuza streamer. I am the Yakuza streamer. In the words of Walter White, I'm the one who streams. I'm popping a hydrate on my own. All right, so I guess we'll start again with this sort of like bird dragon thing. Whoa.
The tidal wave.
Adam_NX67 just redeemed hydrate.
Right. Let's bring this down to about there. We're gonna begin to draw our thing again. About here is the height. Let's go to about there. And then the neck comes down here and comes back up again. Gonna put a little head and little ear thing there. There we go. Let's see. I think I wanna. Yeah, I'm gonna give it its little feets first. Got two little claw foots there. Little feets. Bring them legs on up. Okay. And I think I'm actually going to put the little strap piece down the side first. I think I'm gonna hit that first. Call that a 1. Let's bring this radius up, yeah, somewhere like there. Maybe a little less. Maybe it might be a bit too much. There we go. I didn't even know that Thunder Rosa was in that group. Thunder Rosa and I go way back. I was on her very first show out in California. I can remember the first time she went to wrestle in Japan. And for the life of me, I forget what company it was the very first time, because this would have been 2015, 2014, something like that. All the guys in Japan were, I mean, obviously very jealous or all the guys in California were obviously very jealous she was going to Japan. And their way of coping was to go, oh, well, she had to buy her own flight. It's not like she's really getting flown in. It's like, guys, she's been wrestling for 6 months and she got a tour of Japan. I'd buy my own flight too. Like, are you kidding me? But they were so jealous and it was such a bad look. I remember thinking it was ridiculous. All right. Oh, definitely too small. We were better off before. All right. Let's bump this up a little. You think that's old? I mean, I was already a bunch of years in by then, Reed. I mean, by the time that was happening, I would have been, gosh, 7 years in. Don't love how that's looking. I want to go. Let me rotate and get a look. I want to go thicker. No, that was an okay thickness. Just wanted a little more forward. There we go. They were very jealous. They were jealous, and it was a bad look. And it's like, you know, that's like the lamest way to cope, because there's a much easier cope, and it is a simple fact that there is a smaller pool, especially around 2015, 2014. There's a very small pool of female wrestlers. So, like, you know, it's unfair to say that wrestling was easier for them, but getting those opportunities was easier for them. Wrestling certainly wasn't. Wrestling has always been a rough environment, especially for, I mean, like the rest of experience in the world. Wrestling is a rough environment for anyone who's not this white male. You know? It's hard out there. Huh. I cannot claim to know who that is. I am, you know, this is the thing about me and wrestling, and it constantly drives Johnny Torres a little bit crazy. I rarely, unless someone is like the tippy top of the indies, I don't often concern myself with who anyone outside of people I work with are. Just because there's so many people. So like Johnny Torres will constantly ask me like, oh, you know this guy? And I'm like, nah. And I always feel bad, you know? You know, and I definitely know who Homicide is. And I know that it is a very small select few that can call him by his real name. Hero Boddick, welcome in. We are digging in on the details of a new Rip Bison figure. He wanted one done in the style of the old LJN or the modern Big Rubber guys. And so that is what we were working on. One big solid piece, no moving parts. Yes, Johnny Torres was a wrestler, and the reason I know that is because he and I graduated wrestling school together. When was the last time JT wrestled? September 2020 at the Limitless Wrestling closed studio tapings was his final match. All right, we got to finish our details here on this and then fill it in. Then hit some details in the back. We got to smooth this edge here. All right, where's my draw tool? Okay. Good to there. That's good to there. This is going to come just like the other side. There we go. And like Johnny, you were smart and avoided New York. I mean, I was when he started doing New York stuff, I was 3,000 miles away. I had moved to California by that point. So New York wasn't an option for me. I have done a fair bit of wrestling in New York since returning. You know, for what it's worth. Where's my side view? There we go. I got around, you know. Let's see, I've wrestled, and it was largely for Kaiju Big Battle. So people wouldn't have even known I was on the show. But I wrestled at the Bell House in Brooklyn. I know I did some others, and I'm blanking on where or when those were. Go. It's possible. It's absolutely possible. I believe I'm trying to recall if I've wrestled in New York since the pandemic. I believe it was all pre-pandemic. Post-pandemic, I haven't done anything with Kaiju Big Battle since they parted ways with Dr. Redacted. That was kind of I mean, not a total deal breaker. Like, you know, I would entertain wrestling there again, but I'm also older than I was, and you know, not really willing to put a whole bunch of bumps on the old bump card without getting the benefit of showing my face. You know, it's hard. It's a tough thing to do. It was a hard sell for me to do Rad Pro, where I don't use my name. I use a different name. That was hard, and I love what they do there. So, you know, complicated feelings all around. Feeling good about those. I guess we'll go and we'll fill this in now. We're gonna need that to be like a 1. Make the radius just a bit bigger here. I don't want to go too big and lose any detail, but I do want to cover some danged ground here. Know what I mean? We're going to come back in and smooth it in just a sec, so. Well, I like Smashmaster a great deal, but I can tell you, not everyone loves him. I don't know who MKZ is. That's a name I'm not familiar with. Let's name it Rad Pro now. That's yeah. I don't really know him either. I don't know. That's name at Rad Pro now. That's whose name at Rad Pro now. Smashmaster uses Max Smashmaster at Rad Pro, so that's not his name there. Every time I'm there, he's announced as Max Smashmaster. Was he using a different name there at one point? Because I was not familiar with that. MKZ Mix. Oh, is that how he spells it? I honestly don't know any of the lore about the characters on that show. I barely know the character lore for my guy. I just show up and help make the kids look good and give them ring time, you know. That's my job there. My job there is to help Smashmaster think up merch ideas that'll make him a bunch of money. So far, so good. And to help the kids get some ring time with someone who's been doing it a while. All right, now this is coming along. It's amazing how quick this will start to look good as we work. Like I saw it on the other boot. It happens so quick where like you start to see everything kind of take shape. Right. There we go. There we go. Getting into the nitty gritty of these now, and I know I said that, you know, this toy print's a little bit bigger than the Hasbro's, so a lot of the detail will show that wouldn't on one of the Hasbro style figures, but I don't want to get too bogged down in that, you know. I always try to remember, you know, the you hear the enemy of the, or the perfect is the enemy of the good. Well, another way to put that is perfect is the enemy of the completed. If that makes sense. There's no faster way to not complete a thing than to sit there going, well, it's not good enough yet. Now, I don't take that as an excuse to go soft on quality, but you got to draw a line. And in this case, I got to draw a lot of lines, like a whole bunch of them.
I can't draw a straight line. I don't have the talent.
All right, let's get a look here. We want to smooth the edges of this, so we're going to have to zoom way in, make this a bit smaller. There we go. There we go. Just smoothing this off a little bit. Now, we still want a crease there, but we want it to look sculpted. Now, of course, this will be really small on the figure, so it might not. Yeah, we'll get back into that conversation about detail. Am I hindering with perfectionism, or am I making it all worthwhile? Yeah, you know what? That's the key. That's where you can see the difference. When you see what that looks like, and then we cut over to this one, that is a notable and important difference. Okay. I feel justified in this now. This pursuit of improvement. I won't say pursuit of perfection, because that's not accurate to say. All right, that's looking pretty good. Back to our draw. Make that a 1. And this has got to come up to like the high 30s. There we go. Yeah, you know, that's one of the reasons that, you know, look, the tools I use for this are free, other than a computer, but kind of like most everyone has a computer now, right? I use Blender, which is freeware. I use Tinkercad, freeware. You know, I use all this stuff that's free to do this. And I'm not quiet about what I use. I tell people this is what I use. And very few people take the time to go themselves and learn to do this. And that's why I can continue to do this, because I have the patience. You know what I mean? The printer isn't free, but like one printer is not expensive. Like a computer costs more than the one printer. My smallest resin printer, which could print this figure all as one piece, my smallest resin printer was about $250 all told. The supplies aren't free, but I mean, you know, nothing's free. But like, to learn to do the design, like, yeah, there's people who could be, you know, there's wrestlers who could be doing design work for people. They're not. Same goes for like graphic design. Tons of freeware for graphic design. And all these wrestlers got to go hire somebody, which, like, good, you know, hire artists, get them paid. But like, if you can do it yourself, why wouldn't you? Know what I mean? Feel good about those. Facing's looking good. But the patience, that's the hard part. Because I know a lot of wrestlers who, you know, they go and they get Photoshop, or they get Inkscape, or they sign up for Canva. Saying like, oh, I'm going to start doing graphics. They don't. They don't. And for what I charge for doing designs like this, they could pretty easily say like, oh, geez, you know, I'm better off doing them on my own. You know, save some money. They don't. You know, it takes patience. What else isn't free, Elmira Marks? What else isn't free? Is it bits? Are you about to set off a bit alert? Is someone going to hit me with a karaoke tonight? Is that what's happening? I've been compiling a new list of Waka Waka. Wait, hang on. All right. Feel. Wait, we got to. I almost moved on. We got to do the little middle part here. So we're gonna bump the draw back down to like 80 or so. Don't want it too strong. Gotta bump this like way down. Yeah, something like here. Gotta come out here and give it a little razzle dazzle on the edge there. And one over here. Yeah, that's pretty good. Gotta hit them clay strips. It's not quite enough. Let's go. I think we made this like a 2 before. Oy, don't like how that was working. That's a bit better. Okay, now we can zoom in on that and just hit it with a little smoothing action. This area is not nearly as subdivided as some of the other areas on this model, and I don't love that. This is a very tiny detail that'll be hard to see, so we're just gonna make do. Yeah. That's going to work. All right. Okay, and that's Rip's boots. Feeling good about those. And of course, once I do a test print of this and I can see how the raised features kind of play on the actual figure, once it's in the material, it's always a little different. It's always a little hard to tell what it's going to do. Once I've been able to see like, oh, you know, oh, this isn't pronounced enough, I need to see more of this, I can come back in and refine. So let's go ahead and stick with our smoothing tool here. Now we're going to move up to these knee pads. We're just taking some of the geometry out of them. You know what I mean? I don't want to take it all out entirely because I want you to be able to see some of the grooves and what have you in there, but we want to knock it down a little, you know? Just enough that we're not seeing polygons, you know what I mean? We still want these little folds and creases. That's That's the indicator that it's a knee pad, but there we go. Yeah, and there you can see the difference. That's a huge difference between the two there. These knee pads. This chiptune stuff is killing real good. We want to come up here and rid ourselves of that ugly polygonal artifacting there. Yeah, we're coming along now, boy. Do the same thing on these boots here. I know it won't show on the actual like final product, but never be too sure. Okay. Go. And making sure that we're keeping the indications of the various folds and creases that make up the shape of a knee pad. Took all the time to put those in there, so don't want to get rid of them as we soften and do the detail work here. Yeah, that's one of the interesting things with doing this kind of sculpting is you get little bits of detail that you lose and little bits of detail that you're trying to bring in all at the same time, and it can be a really fine line to walk. Aerobotic, thank you for hanging out, my friend. We will see you again tomorrow. I'll play you out. Tomorrow we will be on at 8. Guys, tomorrow night, the triumphant return. The triumphant return of the co-stream with Johnny Torres. We will be star doing the Valley tomorrow. I know you're looking forward to it. I certainly am looking forward to it. Okay, see, like that, we kind of got rid of what we needed there. And like, I'm actually gonna come in here. Where's my crease tool? I'm going to give us just the slightest indication there. Once I come in and soften it, it'll be a bit less noticeable. But I just wanted a little, we just want to make that so that you can tell that there is a separation there. There we go. Robotic isn't a superstition. Black cats and voodoo dolls. Yeah, this is good progress. I'm feeling good on this. I hope everyone's having a good night hanging out here. We still got ample time on the stream, let me tell you. Now, of course, I'm not letting Rip have one of these without me. So we are going to have to do a mad style parry with my spiky vest as well. My spiky vest is going to be tricky because there's a lot of weird little components on it, and I want to include them all. So that's going to be it's going to be an adventure. There's going to be a lot to figure out there. All right, let's go ahead and increase the radius here just a bit. Yeah, something like that. And we're going to knock the strength down to like 8. Because I want this to be very slight. I want to very slowly take the geometry out of these legs because there's some really good work we did given the muscle, the shape of the muscles here, and I don't want to lose that. Joey Nails, welcome in.
Welcome, my friend.
We were just chatting about you earlier. I was telling folks how busy you've been this year. All kinds of bookings, managing 2 different characters across multiple promotions. The busy guy. Busy, busy, busy. But welcome. Happy to see you, my friend. Happy to have you here. Now, did the 8 bits trigger anything? Did it trigger a did that trigger any kind of alert? It should have. That's right, you moved into the new apartment. Broke into the old apartment. I'm psyched for you. That's got to be great. Yeah, did that trigger an alert? Did I miss an alert that it did? Did it set something off? I can set us off a little alert here. Let me pull up what I need here. Joey Nails, I hope you're doing well. I hope the move went well. You know, there are 2 things in this life that I truly hate doing. One is moving. The other is job hunting. So whenever okay, here we go. Yeah, whenever I have a Joey Nails, you rolled in and I didn't see an alert go off, so I'm gonna go ahead and just
Another winner!
there you go. There you go. But yeah, the 2 things I hate most in this world, moving and job hunting. So whenever I have a job interview and, you know, they ask where I see myself in X number of years, I always tell them, I'm like, hey man, I hate moving and I hate job hunting. So with any luck, I'll be working for you. As long as that's what I'm doing, I won't have to do either of those other things. Like, I hate moving so much that I'm weary about when I go to move all of this into the new basement studio. And that's a little ways off, and I'm already like kind of fretting it. And that's just carrying a bunch of stuff into my own basement. Amelia Tiberius, I am currently job hunting, and I can't even, you know, the current job climate is not a good one. And I do not envy your position. I'm very fortunate that I've hit a point now where when I want to, I don't need to have a day job necessarily. Between toy making, 3D printing for other people, and other, you know, I do a lot of 3D printing for educational nonprofits, printing, you know, different like models for teaching. Between those gigs and toy making and wrestling and streaming and YouTube, I just about cover my half of our collective expenses. So I often, if I'm between day jobs, I don't always start looking right away. I can just squeak by, just barely. Looking last year and it was bad. Then I got laid off and I had to start again, and it's way rough. Oh, hate that. The last gig I had, the last like day job I had, I took through a temp agency, and I was lucky. It was very long term. It was multiple months, and doing work that was similar to what I've done professionally outside of all of this. I've worked in development for nonprofits is the world that I've worked in. And that was essentially what it was. And it was for an animal shelter, a humane society. And that was really cool. I got really lucky. It was a lovely place with some great coworkers. The boss was great. Everybody was fantastic. Nickabeans, welcome in.
Welcome, my friends.
Happy to see you. We are working on a LJN or Big Rubber Guys style Rip Bison figure. This is the roughed out shape, and you can see down here we've started to get into a little refinement and some detail, and we're slowly knocking some of the geometry out of this and making everything look the way it should look. I'm very excited about this. I did a lot of off-stream work on this to get it to where it is. Like a lot of off-stream work, something like 8 or 9 hours worth. So thankfully Rip likes what he's seen so far, because if he didn't, friendship over, man. Yeah, right now I'm just knocking the geometry out of this with my smoothing tool. And then we're going to come back. We're going to make the seam here a little more pronounced all the way around. And you can see back here, it gets a little soft. This is, I use multiple programs to kind of do this stuff. And, the import process is not always perfect. But I did this whole thing just by roughing it out, kind of what I would describe as being like the digital sculpting version of a sketch. And now we're coming back around. Coming around and adding all that detail, removing all the weird, digital artifacting. So far, so good. Yeah, I'm really lucky. The last in-person gig I had was some very lovely people with work that I was well acquainted with. So I picked up on everything very quickly. And it was a good thing, because I was filling in for someone who was going out on maternity leave for 4 months. So I was there 2 months with that person, and then they were gone for 4 months. They came back, and I was still with them for a month after they came back so they could ease back in. Which also speaks a lot about that particular nonprofit, that they had 4 months paid maternity leave. Really, really cool. Something, I can't say enough good things about that. That's great. You know what I mean? All right, let's get the draw tool. And we are going to have to make this smaller. And what I want to do is kind of follow this line around here. That is way too pronounced. We need that to be much more subtle. So let's pop it down to like here. I was in healthcare, and I'm trying to use this as finally my opportunity to get out. Oh yeah, healthcare is a it's a difficult field in so many ways, and I do not envy you working in that field. I think it's fair to say that a fairly comparable field is teaching, in terms of like the amount of what is asked of one, and the amount of crap that someone deals with while in that job. And I was a teacher for years, and obviously I don't do it anymore, and that was a very on purpose choice. Let's find this. Come along and connect. There we go. Okay, now we're going to get our smooth tool. We are going to put the strength way down. Bring that radius up a fair bit. Something like there. Yeah, the old butt sculpt. Got to do a lot of careful sculpting on Rip's butt. He puts a lot of work into that butt. Guy does deadlifts like a maniac. Yeah, see, that's too much. We're losing too much of that line. We got to bring this down to like be a 0.3. Yeah, now we can kind of ease into how much of this we want to go away. I feel like that's too much. Yep, too much. That feels better. Just hit that real quick. A little quick clicks there. Yeah, that's the shape I wanted. And the important thing here is I'm hitting the inside of the line and not the outside. The outside, we lose the edge. The inside, it just becomes one with the fabric. If you understand my meaning there. You'll see me zooming in and out a lot here. That's to help me see the forest for the trees, so to speak. All right, that's looking good. I think, come on, let's, yeah, you can see the line on those trunks all the way around. I don't love the cut over here, but I'm not going to go back and redo it because once you're zoomed out, I mean, pretty minor. But this is looking good. I'm happy. Hopefully I'll get into a field where I get swung on by the elderly a bit less. I hope so, for your sake. I don't think anyone should be swung on by anybody in their line of work. And that's coming from someone who wrestles for a living. I get swung on every single time I go to work. It's now that I think about it. Along here, and we're just pulling all that geometry out of there. We just want a nice smooth belt. I think we can probably go a little bit stronger on this. Otherwise I'll be here doing it all day. Yeah, that's coming along. We're gonna spend some time putting little studs on this too, because that's how Rip Bison do. Studly fellow. I do want to make sure the back is nice and smooth because we are going to be coming back and putting on lettering for the word Ripper as he has on his trunks. I might try to stylize it and get the font right. Kind of undecided right now. And you'll notice I'm not messing with the geometry up inside there. That is because that definitely won't be seen. And if I mess with that, I'm going to start messing with the edge of this, and I don't want that smoke. Please hold on. Checking out what, okay. Come back and that. Yeah. Now I need to go pull up the image he sent me of his belt so I can see what we're doing there. You know, want to make sure we're hitting this stuff right. Because again, Rip is paying good money for this. And I will pull the picture over to show y'all here. This is the belt that he wears. So in the front, there is a big blank section. That's the big square I added. And then there are studs all along. And then on the back, it says Ripper. So that's what we got to try to recreate here. But yeah, anybody who's feeling wealthy and generous, I am working toward a bits goal down below, with the hope being that we can get a cooling pad for my laptop so that on the warmer days we don't we don't have to end the stream like we have in recent times past, where the heat's been a bit too much for us. There we go. I don't want this under view here. I go up to like a 9 in strength, and then the radius we got to bring way down. So let's see what happens if I just find my way through here. Yeah, I think that's doing the trick. There we go. What on earth was that? Well, I'm sure whatever it wasn't important. Or maybe it was. There we go. All right. This is looking good. I kind of want to put the lettering on the back first. Like I think I want to start there with Ripper across. Okay, so I always like to make sure we're looking straight on in the back here. I think we are. All right. Few different ways we can do this. We can try to write it with clay strips to get like those really crisp edges. We could do it just with the draw tool and kind of, yeah, we're gonna have to subdivide this whole section. So let's see if we end up breaking this whole thing. Go into edit mode. Okay. And let's go ahead and subdivide. And this whole thing may need to sit for a minute while that works, because subdivide is a big task. So we'll see how it behaves. Yeah, it's going to sit there for a minute while it works on it, but I need to see the size of the subdivisions there. Yeah, this is going to play much, much more nicely. Let's get back into sculpt mode. Before anything else happens, I definitely need to save this so that nothing crashes. You know what I mean? Computer doesn't feel terribly hot. That's a good sign. While it's working to get into sculpt mode here, there we go. It made it. Let's see, real quick, I'm going to... I'm just going to save this real quick. Don't lose any of this good progress that I've made here. And we are rounding out toward the end of the show here. Folks, remember, if we hit a level 3 hype train somehow, it's late in the show, and it's been a toned down, low-key show. That's not usually how we end up hitting a hype train. But if we end up hitting a level 3 hype train, I'm going to do a Perry lore drop, and I know folks have been asking for some old matches with some specific opponents, and I'm not afraid to do that. All right, here we go. So we got this belt here, which I think needs to be more pronounced. That edge is not looking strong enough. Like, I don't think... I guess when I zoom out, it looks kind of strong, but I want a stronger edge there. So we are going to grab our clay strips. Make our radius a bit bigger. Whoa, the clay strips just got real smooth. Look at that, because we subdivided again. Oh, that's looking nice. Oh, I should have over subdivided before. Look at that. Then I can just smooth this top half, and it's going to give us a nice pronounced section here. Oh, that is beautiful. Luxurious, I say. Absolute luxury. That's nice. Yeah. Feeling that. Good stuff. Okay. Really good edge on that. That makes me happy. I love when this stuff starts behaving better. And all it takes is a lot of subdividing. It's rough on the computer. Like when you subdivide down that much, that is a lot of work on your graphics card. And that's what I bought this computer for. So it should be fine. Checking it to see. Yeah, it's not even that warm. I mean, I do have frozen weight plates under it and a fan blowing on it, and it's not terribly hot here today, but still. All right, so we got that draw tool. Let's drop that radius way the heck down. Let's zoom in. Do I want to do that, or do I want to use... I kind of feel like I want to use clay strips and see how we get on. So it's R-I-P-P-E-R are the letters. So we're going to start with one of the P's here. Whoa. Is that how the clay strips behaves now? Hang on. What tool was I using a minute ago? Was that because I had a bigger radius maybe? Do that. Oh, the clay is real nice. Okay, well let's go ahead and bring this up to like around a 75. I think that radius is going to be okay. Nicka beans. Oh my goodness. Oh my. Pen stream streak. Twitch, what are you doing?
The audacity!
I blame it, Nicka beans. I would blame that solely on the number of times the stream died and came back to life a couple of weeks ago. There were some internet problems and some other things going on, and my stream would cut out and then cut back in. And I think it may have messed with a few people's streaks. I know Adam and X67s is still alive, but hanging on by a thread. Nicka beans, you're still way up top in the streak leaderboard in our hearts. That number always going up higher.
Not higher! Eye level!
A crazy wild streak like no one would believe.
He's jealous of that.
Doing all kinds of art collabs with all of us.
He's jealous of that.
Blessed. But I am sad to see that Twitch has been screwing your record up on you. All right, let's see here. How pronounced is that? That's not pronounced enough. We need this to be much stronger. So let's call this like full 1 and see what happens. Is that enough? That's not enough. Not enough. All right, let's try the draw and see what happens with draw. Oh, that's like cutting in. We don't want to cut in. Try this one. Oh, that's close too, but that's a little blah blah on the look there. Let's try clay strips. How's clay strips working? Yeah, clay strips is a little pixely for my liking. This one, layer. Oh God. Okay, let's see what happens if I make that like a... Oh, that's closer. Try it like a... Split the difference here. A little too... Putting a little too fine a point on it. Say I'm the only bee in your bonnet. A little birdhouse in our soul. I'm really having a rough time getting a straight line here.
I can't draw a straight line. I don't have the talent.
That's okay. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it work. What's if I do the inflate? Too slight. What about blob? Blob is nothing. Okay. I think we are gonna stick with draw for now. We're definitely gonna have to make it stronger. Right at like a 0.8. See what happens there. See what we get out of that. There we go. Oh no. Adam and X67. I mean, look, we all know you're going to end up getting them, right? Like, that's a given. It's just a matter of how. Okay. The amount of patience this is taking from me is crazy. If we talked a bit about how patience is my like strength with this stuff, I just want this to be easier. You know what I mean? This is a Rip figure. It says Ripper on the. Oh yeah, there you go. You got it. You gave me pause for a second because I was like, oh God, what did I write on here? Okay, Ripper. There we go. Yeah, it's a little off center, but is that a deal breaker for me? Really, the R should be over a little bit more. I think it's the spacing issue is the R. Yeah, I guess it is. Okay, we'll zoom back in and we'll do it over. So we're going to start it way back here. It's going to be nice and tall. Amira Marks on the 10 streak.
You did it!
Appreciate it, my friend. Where's my... Hang on, I do have a thank you now. Yeah, much appreciated. Yeah, that's true. I should make a skinny Kong at some point. You're absolutely right. There we go. All right, let's get out and get a look around. Yeah, I feel good about those. That looks good. That lettering looking crisp to me. Yeah, I haven't checked in. How's the volume levels on the background music for this stream? Has it been good? Let's see, we got about 15 minutes left here. I think that's probably time to add the studs around here. Been jamming. Good. Good. Glad to hear it. I'm feeling good about it. That's right, just like blood, sweat, and gears. So you get it. All right, so we are going to... Now, in a perfect world, this is 3 high, and they're all very uniform. So I want to make sure this is looking... Yeah, oh man, this look good. I'm feeling it, feeling it. This is going to be an all-timer figure. You know, sometimes you're working on something and you just know like, oh, this is going to be good. The detail on this is what's got me really excited. You know, it's a slightly bigger figure than I normally do, and Rip wanted all his entrance gear with his studs and everything. And that's really exciting. So he's going to look really cool. Thankfully on the belt, the studs are just studs. They're not spikes. When we get to the spikes, that's going to be a little more complicated because I actually have to like draw them out and make them spikes. And he has a bunch of them up on the top of his gear here. So when we get to that, that's going to be something. And I don't even know if that'll end up happening on stream or not, because, you know, I got a deadline on this and I can't always stream when I work on it. So we'll see. Okay. Pan out and get a look. Oh, you guys, come on. That's so sick. Oh, that's so sick. The question is, when I print it at scale, are they going to show? You know? I guess we'll find out, right? Big, bad, and blown. Start this about here. There we go. Whew. I mean, that whole thing is a classic. Yeah, with Sergeant Slaughter pretending to play the guitar. Like Bam Bam Bigelow pretending to play the saxophone. But tomorrow night we'll be back with our good pal, Mr. Johnny Torres. And we will be back in the world of Stardew Valley, where we've just begun our work trying to see if we can grow a flower bed that looks like the flower garden on the entrance to Disneyland. We just started working on that, but we haven't been able to have a co-stream. God, almost a month. It's been almost a month since Johnny Torres and I have been able to have a co-stream. I had stuff going on. I had a Weird Al concert at one point, or I had Monster Jam at one point. Had the canceled streams last week. Johnny Torres worked one week, so I did a solo stream. We had a lot of things come up. Kind of crazy. Because we went a really long time without having anything come up. Everything was just good. You know? Yeah, when we get to Rip's gauntlets, he has gauntlets that he wears on his Rips that are studded out like this. You know, he's the one painting these, and he wanted every one of these details. And I told him, you know, if the detail is sculpted in, that means you have to paint it. You can't just leave it unpainted. And he said, oh, I know, but I want it. I want the whole deal. Like, all right, man. Whoa. Like, all right, man, that's your call. I'll do it. I'll do the work. It's gonna look sick. Don't get me wrong. All right. That is the belt. Oh, that is so slick. Come on. Guys. Come on. That looks so sick. I am stoked on that. That's really good. Yeah. I will Reed Cooper. I will put you in touch with Rip once he gets to painting him, because he wants to do a lot of these. He wants to do a pretty good run of these, because he has a lot that he wants to give to people as gifts. He's bringing them to Japan to sell there. Thank you, Day Without Darkness, and thank you, Adam and Reed as well. I'm very pleased with how this is coming along. You know, it's really just a matter of getting all the detail in there, and then from my pre-sculpt work, trying to not undo anything that I already had, because there's some good stuff here. You know? Yeah, so this will be a different scale than the Perry you have, Adam, in XX7, but I do intend to make one in this scale for me. So if you're familiar with the LJNs, I don't have one on hand, but I will say, if this is the Hasbro Perry, this LJN Rip would probably be about this tall. So it's gonna be a chunky boy. It's a big boy. What are you working on tonight, Day Without Darkness? I'd love to hear it. I know Nickabeans often makes stuff at the same time, so watching the stream sort of becomes almost like what do they call it? What's the term? Parallel play? Let's drop the strength down. Let's bring the radius up to like here somewhere. Yeah. And again, I'm just removing geometry here. We want this to look like skin, which does not have fractals readily appearing in it. You know what I mean? Yeah, Rip and I spent a great deal of time today kind of looking over the model, talking about the amount of work that'll go into the paint and the size of the piece and how much material it's going to take, which I'm still not fully certain I know how much material it will take to print, because this will be a resin print. But it's quite large, and some people will hollow their resin prints. I don't like to do it. I find that it can make the printing process pretty volatile, and I don't want things to go wrong. So I just print mine solid, and it gives you a nice chunky toy. It feels like a toy, you know? It doesn't feel like a 3D print. It feels like a proper toy. All right, look at that. Look at how his chest and everything looks like it should look now. That's great. I'm real happy with that. Let's see, finished my errands and the attention to my art profiles. So now I'm snuggling dogs doing nothing. Hell yeah. I love that, Nickabeans. And Day Without Darkness is trying a new medium in embroidering on a birthday card for your mom, for my dear aunt. That's awesome. That's so cool. Grandma would be proud. That's very grandma coded. Grandma Von Vicious would approve. Currently punching out many holes in card stock. Yeah, well, I mean, you know, the tedium of tedium of so much art and so much like whether it's crafting or if it's something more like this, like digital art, or even when I'm painting the figures, you know, when you're doing any of that, the tedium involved, I think is we talked about it a little bit earlier. The patience involved is kind of what stops most people from doing it. It's not about skill per se. It's about persistence. And yeah, so the tedium is something that one has to learn to embrace. Okay, feel good about that. Now the question is, do I start smoothing the vest or do I smooth the arms first? I think maybe I keep working on the flesh parts first and then we go back and we work on the vest. Yeah, I think that might be the move because I feel this looks great. This looks really good. I recommend he paint the leather spots with matte black and everything else gloss. Oh, let's see. The tough part there, Nickabeans, is once everything's painted, he and I both have the same method here, where once everything is painted, we have to clear coat it. And that will determine gloss or matte. Because we don't want, if someone drops it, we don't want the paint chipping off or smudging or anything. But that said, it would be pretty easy because obviously you do the silver details on the spikes last. It would be pretty easy to, hit the whole thing with matte first, then mask off the leather parts that you don't want to be shiny, and then go in and gloss the rest of it, and then, let it all dry out, and then go back and hit your silver highlights. That's certainly a way that could be done, and I think that would be really cool. By listening to you while him helps with that, like crafting with, yeah, absolutely. It's parallel play, right? Illusion, Michael.
Come on!
Yeah, that's true. You could paint over certain spots with like a matte clear, for sure. I guess it really depends. I don't. Rip and I haven't talked a lot about his particular proclivity. Mitch Madness 44, welcome in.
Welcome, my friends.
He and I haven't talked a lot about his particular proclivities when he's doing this kind of work. And I would be interested to know more because I would love to know. I would love to know if he's more of a mask parts off and spray, or if hitting it with the brush is easier for him. I've just realized from saying Blast talking to you on Saturday that it's definitely Scott. There it is. Yeah, it's Scott. Well, welcome in. Happy to have you. That's for those who don't know, Scott Mitchell, indie wrestling reporter. Yeah, he writes the dirt sheets. No, he's the man. He's awesome. He's a frequent sponsor for performers at a number of different places, and just a good dude. We hung out chatting because he had set up shop very close to where my merch table was. So throughout the show, after I had concluded my work in the Battle Royal, we got some time to chat and hang out. Great dude. Can't say enough good things. But yeah, this is he also picked up some Perry figures. And this is my Rip Bison LJN that we're working on. It's sort of roughed out right now, and you can see we've been going up and adding the details. So like this has some fine, nice refinement we need to get in, and the vest needs some work, the skin, the hands, the face. We're going in and doing all the detail work now. But it's coming along, it's I keep making the joke where I'm like, it's kind of a labor of love because I really like making toys, but also, Rip is paying me for this work. But yeah, welcome in. Happy to have you. This is the most chill of my streams when I'm doing digital sculpting or when I'm painting figures down in the workshop. Those are always some very relaxing times. Not like Mondays when I'm playing Hollow Knight Silk Song and just raging against different game bosses. That can be really stressful. We can put the strength on this up a little bit because we're going a little slow. Yeah, that's a little bit better. That's more what we want. This figure is going to look great. So fascinating how it's done. Now with the screen printing compared, the way that they do that stuff now, when you hire an actual like a factory that can do the screen printing and like all the careful stuff. Of course, I do it all by hand because I am cheap. No, I've been saying throughout the stream that it's a labor of love even when I get paid, and that's really true. It's you know, the way that this all started, it's a story I tell a lot on stream, is you know, when I got when my wife got me a 3D printer while the world was shut down, I started making toys just that I wanted, stuff for me. And then I decided I would make toys to sell, because it was win-win, because I'd be making toys either way, whether anyone was buying them, whether anyone had any interest in buying them, I would be doing it either way. So when I take the time and I'm painting a figure, you know, when you look at how long it takes me to paint and design a figure, theoretically I should charge more for them, but I don't, because I like doing it. I like what I'm doing, and I would be doing it either way. So instead, I keep the prices at something affordable, and it helps me to pay for more materials to continue making toys. You know, I started with one very baseline, fairly open source 3D printer, and now I'm up to a small army of 4 3D printers that are all each one a cooler machine than the last. And my skills in 3D sculpting and 3D modeling have come along, and that allows me to do things a little faster and certainly with higher quality. You know, when I look at some of my early toy designs and then I look at some of this stuff now, I mean, night and day differences. Now, this is something I was really pleased with. Again, it's all kind of blocky now until I go in and refine, but I have the C grip, the classic action figure C grip on Rip's figure here. And that is because he carries a chain to the ring most of the time, and he is going to get a little chain and cut it into little lengths, and each figure will come with one. That's going to be... They're going to love that in Japan. They're going to love these figures in Japan, and I can't wait to hear what they think of them. I'm a little... Look, I am sad that I'm not going with Rip on this next Japan trip. But I've been talking with Kodai Nozaki, who is currently the person in charge of the talent relations for Kyushu Pro, and there are plans to bring me back sooner than later. I'm very excited for that. That's going to be really fun. Trying to do this, probably a ton of patience. Yeah, we've been talking a lot about patience on this stream. A great deal, in fact. Oh, you know, and Scott Mitchell, since you're in the chat, I will say Nika Beans, who was in the chat, who greeted you, that is the artist who made the soft goods for that Perry figure that you bought. Scott Mitchell here bought the last pre-sale for the Luau figures. That is the last one to be sold in the wild. Yeah, Nika Beans is the artist I collaborated with. She made the little Hawaiian shirts and the little leis for the figures. Nika Beans says the urge to beg for a raw Rip too to make super realistic. Hey, it's up to him because he's the one who commissions these. But yeah, I don't know if Scott Mitchell has seen this before, but I do have a 2.5 up of my Perry figure that I usually have on the merch table to get people's attention. It is, you know, hand for scale. It is big. And it's become the holster for the various friendship bracelets and the luau lei that Nika Beans made. And yeah, It's become a permanent set piece here on the stream. I keep it in the background by the old vending machine. Like the size of that one. I think the next one I buy will certainly be a bigger one. Yeah, so this one that I'm doing for Rip Bison is going to be, you know, it's in the style of the LJNs, no moving joints, just big rubber guy style. And it's going to be to that scale. It won't be rubbery. It will be a hard plastic because that's the UV resin that I like to print in. But I am going to make a Perry like this, and I will be in entrance attire like Rip is in. I'm going to try to match him so that we look like Mad in it rather than looking like our individual selves. All right, so we're going to have a lot of work to do on the hand to kind of refine the individual fingers there. We got to give him his gauntlets that are going to be studded out. He wears the Farouks. If anyone's ever noticed, he has the Farouk armbands, so we're going to do that. Halloween themed. Oh, hang on, I'm getting caught up here. Super talented. We can do another collaboration soon. Yeah, Nickabeans and I are talking about doing another collaboration for another Perry. I want to do another. I have prototype pieces of my figures here. I want to do another Hasbro Perry where we'll keep the same base model and do some changes on the sculpt. I want to do a Halloween one, and I was kind of thinking, let me see if I have. Oh yeah. So there's a very talented artist that I met at RPM Fest named Jinx. They are an incredible artist and painted me a piece for last year at RPM Fest that is Zombie Perry. And I'm not opposed to doing a figure of this. Like, I think it would be pretty cool to do Zombie Perry. Like, that would be awesome. And at some point, I got to get plushies back. Like, these guys sold like crazy. I mean, they have their own emote here in the stream. I got to get the monster trucks back at some point. You know, there's a lot I need to restock in the toys. But you know, it's all a matter of finding the time because. Yeah, Adam NX67, those went so fast. The one that I have is the last one like that. I do have I had the smaller ones too. Those I only have one that they're just for my archives. The company I worked with for those was not a good company to work with. They were a nightmare. I think I've told the story on stream before. I don't like, you know, I won't name them. Although they do have a very specific style of toy and most people recognize who they are. Yeah, you definitely do. You definitely do know what company it is. But they were a nightmare to work with. It is the one that everyone did. They were a nightmare to work with. They initially told me how long it would take. And I said, you know, oh, well, I probably can't do it then. I'm leaving for Japan. This was before my Japan trip. And they said, oh, when do you go? We can bump you up in the schedule and, you know, have it done early. And I told them, and they said, we'll have it done then. No problem at all. We'll have them all shipped to you. You'll be good to go. I wound up getting them about 10 months after I got back from Japan. And that was after so much work trying to communicate with them. They were so hard to get to return a message or an email. It was an absolute nightmare. Their art was incredible. The finished product was great. You know, I was real happy with all that, and they sold like crazy. You know, I think I only had them for like 4 or 5 shows, and I had a big order. But, you know, they were a nightmare to work with, and I really don't want to work with them again if I can help it. Not that I'm bitter about how it went. Well, not me. I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I don't hold grudges. But yeah, they were not a delight to work with. Yeah, I think that's why. Also, I don't even know if they still make stuff. Like, I think they may have sold the company off because now I think Cardona has a company that makes them. And I think he may have bought them out of some of their stuff. All right. Now, all this kind of softened. Okay, we're going to have a fair bit of work to do to get the hands to look right. But I do feel better now. We've removed all that ugly geometry artifacting from the import process, from the skin anyway. Yeah, so everything from the waist down here is done. I feel good about that. This part's done. Hey.
Don't tell me we actually showed up.
Thank you for the resubscription. Much appreciated. 4 months. Oh my goodness. 4 months is crazy. Thank you so much. Where's my
You did it!
I appreciate it. Now, sometime soon we're going to be having a subathon on the stream here. I have the discount for subs going because when we hit that sub goal, I will announce the next all-day stream. The all-day streams are a big hit around here. I got a bunch of ideas for them. Johnny Torres has been working with me to help put a few things together to try to make an interesting... I always try to have a theme in them, and he's been working with me on a few ideas. So it's looking like... I don't want to say when. I know when. I know when it'll happen. We got to hit that sub goal. So we're way under it now. This is like the lowest the subs have been in months. This is like, I think all the subs kind of ran out mid-July, and a bunch of them were gift subs from the last subathon. So yeah, we're way under the, we were at like 120, 130 not long ago. Crazy how that happens. All right. So I think for now, this progress is good. And I think we're going to call it here for the moment. I like the ripper on the back. I don't know if I want to try to... Yeah, I think it's good. I'm always kind of looking at it and going like, do I need that to look different? But I think it's good. He's going to paint that, and that's going to look awesome. And the detail down on the boots is wild. Like, he has really fancy boots. So yeah, I think this is really good progress for a first stream pass at this. I am all told in the sculpting of this figure as of right now, I am 11 hours deep into sculpting this figure. This has been a lot of work. I did the entire thing custom. In the past, I've done a few things. Yeah, right, Reed? But I've done a few things in the past that are, cutting corners is one way to put it, but really it's just I wanted a leaping off point. When I do my Hasbro figures, I will often find scans of original Hasbros, find something close to what I want, and then I sculpt on top of that and alter it as needed. For this, I went full on custom from the ground up. I did not want to start from a previously scanned toy and work on top of it. So I started from the ground up, and that's why it's so roughed out and kind of weird looking. But as we've zoomed in, we've gotten the belt narrowed down. We got all of our details on the trunks here. We got the boots coming along. All the skin is looking really good. Like, we got all the indications of the muscles where they need to be. I'm real happy with it. So I am going to go ahead and smash that save button before anything goes wrong. And we are definitely going to raid somebody. Just taking a look to see who's around, who we ought to jump in on and say hello to. A lot of folks out tonight. See, I always double check to see if there's any of our homies that are on. And I don't think that there is currently. I think it's all... Well, I got my buddies at Mega 64. Have you got to check in tonight? Yeah, please do. I stream at 8:30 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Mondays I play Hollow Knight Silk Song. Tuesdays I'm playing Yakuza 0, which was really fun. Wednesdays are workshop Wednesdays. Sometimes it's digital sculpting. Sometimes it's actually IRL in the workshop where I'm painting figures or 3D printing. And then Thursdays at 8 p.m. When schedules allow, I co-stream with Blitzkrieg Pro and Limitless Wrestling announcer Johnny Torres, and we play some Stardew Valley for a few hours. When he is unavailable, I try to fill in with something else, and I may have some other streams popping up here or there when I don't have bookings. I've done some Saturday morning cartoon streams. Friday nights we've done some monster truck watch-alongs, so a lot of good stuff. Yeah, well, I look forward to seeing you, my friend. I was happy you could pop in tonight. And for now, I'm going to set up our raid and get us out of here for the evening. We are going to raid my homies over at Mega 64, specifically tonight on the Poorly Played stream. We got Garrett Hunter, who wrestles in San Diego as Strife. He is streaming some Metal Gear Solid. It is Metal Gear Summer over on Mega 64. So once again, thank you all so much for hanging out. This has been an absolute blast. I'm really happy with how this figure's coming along, and I'm glad you could all come hang out while we worked on it. But for now, I will see you all tomorrow. Pop into the Mega 64 that we're about to raid, drop some of our emotes, let them know we're there, be friendly, hang out. Take care, catch y'all tomorrow.